It was a busy Monday morning in the city. People walked fast on the streets. Cars honked loudly. Sarah was also walking quickly. She was late for work. She held her bag tightly. She wanted to get a coffee before her meeting at 9 o'clock. Sarah worked in a small office near the city center. She liked her job, but sometimes the city noise made her tired. She hoped the day would be good. While she was crossing the street, Sarah felt something was wrong. She reached into her bag. She looked for her wallet, but the wallet was not there. Her heart started to beat faster. She looked again and again, but the wallet was missing. Where did I lose it? Sarah thought. She was nervous and scared. The wallet had her money, her ID card, and some credit cards. Sarah stopped on the sidewalk. She looked around carefully. She tried to remember where she had the wallet last time. Did she drop it on the bus? Or at the cafe? Or maybe at the grocery store yesterday? Sarah took a deep breath. She said to herself, I must find my wallet. First, she went back to the cafe where she bought coffee yesterday. She asked the cashier, Did anyone find a wallet? The cashier shook his head. No, sorry. Next, Sarah went to the grocery store. She talked to the manager and the workers, but no one had seen a wallet. Sarah felt sad. She wanted to find it. She looked everywhere, but there was no wallet. She sat down on a bench near the park. She was tired and frustrated. What can I do now? She asked herself. Just then, an old man walked by. He had kind eyes and a warm smile. He stopped and looked at Sarah. Are you okay? He asked. Sarah looked up and said, No, I lost my wallet. I don't know where it is. The old man nodded slowly. That is not good. Losing something important is very hard. Sarah smiled a little. Yes, it feels bad. The old man sat next to her. Maybe I can help you, he said kindly. Sarah was surprised. Thank you, she said. My name is Mr. Brown, he said. What is your name? I am Sarah, she answered. Mr. Brown asked, Where did you lose your wallet? Sarah told him everything. I was at the cafe, the bus, and the grocery store. I looked everywhere, but I can't find it. Mr. Brown thought for a moment. Let's look together, he said. Sarah felt a little better. Thank you, Mr. Brown, she said. They started walking slowly down the street. Mr. Brown looked carefully on the ground and under benches. Sarah looked around too. They walked to the cafe again. The cashier saw them. Hello, he said. Hello, Sarah said. Did anyone find a wallet? The cashier shook his head again. No, sorry. Mr. Brown smiled. That's okay. We will keep looking. They left the cafe and walked to the bus stop. The bus was not there now. Mr. Brown looked on the ground near the bus stop. Suddenly, Sarah saw something brown near the bushes. She walked closer. It is my wallet, she shouted happily. Mr. Brown smiled. You found it. Sarah picked up the wallet and checked inside. All her money and cards were there. She was very happy. Thank you, Mr. Brown. You helped me a lot. Mr. Brown said, You're welcome, Sarah. Sometimes we need a little help from a kind stranger. Sarah smiled. She felt grateful. She knew that kindness was very important. Before they left, Sarah said, Would you like to have coffee with me? Mr. Brown smiled. I would like that very much. They went back to the cafe together. They sat and talked. Sarah learned that Mr. Brown liked to help people. He said, Helping others makes me happy. Sarah thought, Today I learned something important. Kindness is a gift. From that day, Sarah decided to be more kind to people. She wanted to help others, too. After finishing their drinks, Sarah and Mr. Brown stood up and walked outside the cafe. The rain had stopped and the air was fresh. The street looked clean, and the sky was brighter now. Sarah felt calmer than before. She turned to Mr. Brown and said, "Thank you again for your help. You really saved my day." Mr. Brown smiled gently. "You're welcome. I'm glad I could help. Sometimes helping a stranger brings happiness to both people." They walked slowly down the sidewalk. Sarah looked around and realized how different the city looked now. Before, she was nervous and upset. Now she felt peaceful and thankful. "I was really scared when I lost my wallet," Sarah said. "I thought someone would take it, or that I would miss my class. Everything felt so stressful." Mr. Brown nodded. "It happens. But you didn't give up. You stayed calm and asked for help. That's important." They passed by a small bookstore. Sarah stopped for a moment and looked at the books in the window. "I love reading," she said. "When I have time, I like to read stories in English. It helps me learn." "That's great," Mr. Brown replied. "Reading is one of the best ways to improve language skills. You learn new words, grammar, and ideas." Sarah smiled. "Yes, and stories help me understand how people feel. It's like walking in someone else's shoes." Mr. Brown looked impressed. "That's a wise thought." They continued walking. Suddenly, Sarah stopped. She looked in her bag and said, "Wait. Where are my keys?" She opened each pocket and searched quickly. "I had them this morning. Maybe I dropped them somewhere." Mr. Brown stayed calm. "Don't worry. Let's go back to the cafe and look. Maybe they fell out there." They returned to the cafe. Sarah asked the staff, and they helped her search around the table. But there were no keys. She felt worried again. "Oh no, I hope I didn't lose them outside." They stepped out and looked carefully on the sidewalk, near where she first bumped into Mr. Brown. After a few minutes, she saw something shiny near a bench. "There," she said, running over. "My keys." She picked them up and laughed. "I'm so lucky today. First my wallet, now my keys." Mr. Brown laughed too. "You must have a guardian angel watching over you." "Maybe," Sarah said. "Or maybe I was just lucky to meet someone kind." They walked for a few more minutes, enjoying the fresh air. Sarah looked at her phone and said, "Oh, my class starts in 30 minutes. I have to catch the bus." Mr. Brown nodded. "Then we should say goodbye here." Sarah reached out her hand. "It was very nice to meet you." Mr. Brown shook her hand and said, "You too, Sarah. Take care, and don't lose anything else today." They both laughed. Sarah waved and walked quickly toward the bus stop. As she walked, she felt a warm feeling inside. Today started badly, but it ended with something special. On the bus, Sarah sat by the window and thought about the day. She remembered how scared she was in the beginning, and how different she felt now. One person's kindness had made a big difference. She promised herself that next time she saw someone in need, she would help too. Even a small act of kindness could change someone's day. When she arrived at her language class, she saw her teacher and classmates already inside. She smiled and took her seat. "You look happy," said her friend Maria. Sarah nodded. "Yes, I lost my wallet this morning, but someone helped me. He was very kind." Maria listened with interest as Sarah told the whole story. "Wow," Maria said. "That's amazing. It's good to know there are kind people out there." Sarah smiled. "Yes. And I want to be one of them too." The teacher entered the room and started the lesson. Sarah opened her notebook and began to write. But in her heart, she was still thinking about the stranger who helped her. That night, Sarah sat in her small apartment, thinking about her day. The room was quiet. She made a cup of tea and sat by the window. The city lights were glowing outside. She held the warm cup in her hands and smiled. Today had been strange. It started with panic, confusion, and fear, but it ended with peace, gratitude, and inspiration, all because of a kind stranger. Sarah opened her notebook and began to write in her journal. Today I lost my wallet. I felt helpless and scared, but then I met a man named Mr. Brown. He helped me. He didn't know me, but he stayed with me, bought me tea, and made me feel safe. I learned that one small kind act can change someone's whole day, maybe even more. I want to remember this. I want to be like him. She closed her notebook and looked at the stars outside. Then she whispered to herself, "Thank you." The next morning, Sarah woke up early. She had a new energy. She got dressed, packed her bag, and headed out. On her way to class, she noticed a woman on the sidewalk. The woman looked confused and was checking her phone again and again. Sarah stopped and said, "Are you okay?" The woman looked up. "I'm trying to find the hospital. My daughter is sick and I don't know this city very well." Sarah smiled gently. "I know the way. It's close. I can walk with you." The woman looked surprised. "Really? That's so kind of you." Sarah nodded. "Someone helped me yesterday. Now it's my turn." As they walked together, the woman thanked her again and again. When they reached the hospital, Sarah said goodbye and walked away with a happy heart. In class, Sarah felt more confident. She joined discussions, answered questions, and even helped another student with vocabulary. Her teacher smiled at her and said, "You're doing very well today." Sarah smiled back. "Thank you. I feel different today." After class, she walked to the same cafe from the day before. She wondered if Mr. Brown would be there, but the cafe was quiet. She sat at a table and ordered tea. While sipping it, she opened her notebook again and started writing. Kindness is powerful. It's free, but it's worth so much. You never know how your actions will affect others. A kind word, a smile, a helping hand. These things can change a person's life, just like Mr. Brown changed mine. She looked out the window and saw people walking by. Some looked tired, some looked busy, some looked lost. "I hope they meet someone kind," she thought. Suddenly her phone rang. It was her cousin Leo, who lived in another city. "Hey, Sarah," he said, "how's life in the big city?" Sarah laughed. "It's interesting. Yesterday I lost my wallet, but a stranger helped me. He was really kind." Leo was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Wow, that doesn't happen often." Sarah nodded. "I know. That's why it meant so much to me." Leo said, "You sound different, happier." "I think I am," she replied. "I've learned something important. Kindness is not just a nice idea. It's something real, something we can give every day." They talked a bit more, then said goodbye. That evening, Sarah walked through a park near her home. The sun was setting, painting the sky with orange and pink. She sat on a bench and listened to the birds. She saw an old man trying to carry a heavy bag. He looked tired. Sarah stood up and walked over. "Do you need help?" she asked. The man smiled. "That would be nice, thank you." She took the bag and walked with him to the corner. He thanked her warmly. "Young people like you give me hope," he said. Sarah smiled. "Someone helped me yesterday. I'm just paying it forward." As she walked home, she felt full of purpose. Before, she thought she was just a student learning English, going to classes, living a quiet life. But now, she felt part of something bigger. A chain of kindness. Later, she sat at her desk and wrote one final journal entry for the day. Every day gives us a choice. We can walk past people or we can stop and help. We can complain or we can give. I want to be someone who gives. I want to be the reason someone believes in goodness again. She put down her pen, closed her notebook, and turned off the light. In the darkness, she smiled to herself. She knew the world could be hard sometimes. People were busy, problems were everywhere, and life was not always fair. But she also knew this. Kindness is real. And even when you feel lost, like losing a wallet in a big city, someone kind might find you. And that can change everything.